Hi, I'm Perry Atkinson, General Manager here at theDove. Hey, check out our other videos and check out our website at theDove.us. Welcome back. Hey, delighted to have with us back in the studio today Larry Blight. He's the lead chaplain at the Asante Rogue Regional Medical Center. You guys change your name about every 3 days, don't you?
Evidently more descriptive this way.
Okay, here it is. I think everybody just calls it, well, anyway, RVMC, but it's not that. It's Asante Rogue Regional Medical Center.
Yes.
Hi, Larry. How are you? Good
I'm
to see
doing
you.
good.
You're looking great.
Thanks.
Good to see you. All right, you're the lead chaplain. You got a big job over there.
I do. It's a great job because they allow us to be with patients every day. I have a group of volunteers and about 25 now, 26 volunteers. We're trying to recruit some more, and we go every day to be with patients, hear their stories.
Wow.
We have no agenda going in. We just want to listen, and it's just amazing some of the stuff the harrowing stuff people are going through. A lot of times their stress comes not from the medical, but from all the stuff that's in their life that's impacting the medical, or that could have caused the medical.
And actually provides an opportunity for you to do ministry.
Yes.
Yeah,
because I was just doing some reading here and there. The Journal of Christian Obstetrics and Gynecology said that 93% of the cancer patients that they interviewed used their spiritual beliefs to help them get through the cancer.
Wow.
And so there's a significant relevance to what I believe in my spirit, how that affects my healing process. And sometimes that gets clouded up with all sorts of other stuff. And our volunteers are trained to go back in and try to process that out and hear their stories and let them talk about that.
All right, so you're going to have a caregiving training session coming up 2 days, January 29th and 30th, from 8 to 4. What's this designed to do?
It's designed to, the first day will be kind of an introductory thing. It's what our philosophy is, how we deal with multiple faiths, and then how do we do a spiritual assessment? How do we assess people where they are spiritually? Because we believe that it's been taught and proposed that people are connected in 3 ways: to themselves, to others, and to their God, whoever that is. Mm-hmm. If there's a disconnect, then they get into spiritual distress, and a lot of times health issues create the disconnect. Mm-hmm. Why am I here? Why is God doing this to me? Why me? Mm-hmm. And so there's a disconnect there, or there's a disconnect between them and the families. They will they don't want to go to the doctor. They're forced to go to the doctor now because the problems have gotten so bad, but they don't want to be there. They don't want to deal with those issues, or even the denial of the self. It's just a little bit no big deal, no pain, and they're facing major surgeries, and then sometimes even in the hospital they get big diagnosis that they went in for a gallbladder surgery and realized they've got liver cancer.
Yeah,
and that just throws their whole world into a uproar.
Now, are you also using this not only to train but to recruit?
Yeah, that's the hope of this. Is we want to recruit them. The first day is kind of introductory. If you like what you see, if you think you can be effective and you want to be a part of the ministry, then you go to the second day, and that's more intense. And we do some actually in-room
visits, huh?
Yeah, visits and that kind of stuff to try to get people to say, this is either good for me or I can't do this.
What are you looking for in basic qualifications for volunteer chaplains?
We want people who are pretty secure where they are spiritually. And, we're not looking for evangelists because we don't do that.
Yeah.
But we are looking for people who can listen and who can hear and empathize, who have a desire to help people. Because really, when if you've never been in the hospital, it's a difficult situation because everything's out of your control, and we want to give them back some control. So tell me your story. What's going on in your life?
I also know that it's an incredible time in the life of the patient. They seem to be either very open or very closed, but the ones that are open, I'll go in to visit somebody in the hospital, and then I'll bump into 4 or 5 other people, and then I'm there for a couple of hours, And the only thing they want to do is talk and get it out.
That's it. And a lot of times, people make the mistake of they go in with an agenda,
Yeah.
and it's a rightly so. They want to share God, that's their zeal and yet that's not what people they don't want that right now. They will eventually get to that, I believe. God becomes a part of the picture, whether we like it or not.
Right.
But it's letting them get there on their terms, not trying to bring our agenda in and put them on our terms.
You know what's so interesting about this, and if you're feeling called to get involved in this, this isn't for wimps.
No, it isn't.
Because you're going to hear raw life.
Well, and you're going to see people at their worst. And, it's their physical worst and their emotional worst. And a lot of times, it's, I don't want you, get away. Yeah, I'm from spiritual care. I don't want to talk to you.
Yeah.
And so it's kind of saying, okay, that something's upset,
okay.
Yeah.
The other thing you're dealing with is the dynamics of family, which can be pretty interesting, contribute to a lot of that, don't you?
We see a lot of that. A lot of it is, especially, in more intensive care units and stuff like that, where people are closer to death, family moves in for all different reasons.
I want to say also, one of the key things you cover here are the do's and don'ts of being a chaplain. Now, I've interacted with chaplains with, like, the fire and the police on various occasions, and I think you've been involved in that.
I was with the fire department.
For those levels, and you get called right to the scene of a lot of things, and that's a whole nother level of service and care.
It is.
But in the hospital, there's some don'ts, right?
Yes.
Give me a couple.
One of the don'ts is don't get drawn in to their story. When they tell their story, sometimes it touches you.
Yeah. And
you end up, it gets to your feelings. And so you don't want to go in and get drawn into their story. And then you take over,
you become
the room.
The manager of the problem.
Or you become the problem.
Yeah.
We've had some times when chaplains have gotten too close, and the patient has complained and said, I was telling my story, and the chaplain started crying, and half an hour later, I asked them to leave because they got sucked into it, And
how do you not do that? If you're a true chaplain, you care, but where do you draw the line? How do you train somebody to draw that line?
You have to be at peace within yourself. That's I know my story, and I know where my story starts and ends, and so if there's an identification. For instance, in May I had heart surgery. Well, when I talk to a person in the CCU, in the cardiac unit, I've been there in that place, but I can't let that story get in the way of what they want to tell me. And so while I can empathize, I've got to have that boundary line that says you can't go past that, and
Which, by the way, is one of the hardest things to deal with when you're talking about health issues. Everybody wants to weigh in on their experience or their opinion.
Yeah.
Which kind of robs the person who's trying to be ministered to at the moment.
Exactly.
You supersede them with your story,
And sometimes it's just an inopportune time. You're coming at a time when, they're going through a medication issue, and they're just not feeling and so if you take it personal, the rejection, you take that personal, then they just, they don't want to upset you, and yet, they just don't feel like talking to you.
Do you deal with death and dying?
All the time, every day. Yesterday, 3 people died up there, and I was in the room with them. Sometimes it's more comforting the family. Sometimes it's dealing right before the patient dies. There have been times when I've been sitting alone because nobody's there to be with the patient, so I sit with the patient, and I just talk to them, just trying to, we've got this time together, it's just you and I don't know whether they're conscious or unconscious or how conscious they are, and I just tell them God loves them, and that when you get to see God, you'll see something you've never seen before in your life, and what a joy it's going to be, and just, God will take care of you.
Are you allowed to, if somebody draws you all the way into a point of conversion, are you allowed to go there?
I have. It's there, because a lot of times we ask, are you at peace with God? well, how do I do that? And then I said, well, here's how I know how to do it. You know, there may be other options, but here's what I know. And then I take them through the scriptures. But I don't do that often because we're not supposed to do that.
Yeah, well, I know. I mean, but things progress.
Yes. Yeah, if it's their suggestion, they're saying, how do I do that?
That's not the agenda, so to speak.
That isn't the agenda, but it's certainly...
Under the cover. I got it. Okay. Of course it is. Let me ask you this. It's coming up January 29th and 30th. It's 2 days. It's going to be there at the Smolin Center, which is right there in the parking lot of the Rogue Valley. What do you call yourselves now?
Rogue Regional Medical Center.
Rogue Regional Medical Center. Okay. How do they get signed up? What do they do?
They can there'll be some flyers going out. They go to the website and apply through their website. They can call my office, 789-3780, and go call the office, and I'll send them out the application forms.
Okay, 789-3780, of course, 541, 789-3780. Larry Blight, he's the top guy there. How many are you looking for?
We're looking to get 7 to 10.
Okay. And you put them on various schedules, it's all volunteer?
All volunteer. They commit to about 4 hours a week. And we try to say, well, if you can't do 4 straight hours, then do 2 2-hour shifts. You can do some in the evenings if you work during the day and you like to do it in the evenings. We have some evening shifts available. And we've got someone in the house from 7 in the morning to 7 in the night. And then all night long, 24 hours a day, 365 days a year. Wow. Available for, we get called in just to do a prayer. Somebody dies and the family doesn't know what to do, and they'll call us in and just to do a prayer. But we do that. And people will go on call with us. I got chaplains that go on call and come in the middle of the night and just to do a prayer.
That's wonderful. At all your facilities?
Yes.
So you're here, Ashland and Grants Pass, right?
Yes.
All right, so you obviously have a big team.
Yes, we do. And again, we've got some attorneys, we've got some former businessmen, large corporation.
Isn't that wonderful?
Oh, it's great. These guys are sharp. These ladies that we have are sharp. And we've got some people that just, typical little old lady that just loves to go around and sit and talk and listen. And, we've got people like that too. So it's from all walks of life, all different levels. We've got some chaplains who are from Buddhists, and they minister to the Buddhist people. We have a number of different religions that come into the hospital that declare. We have one guy that concentrates on Native American spirituality, and
that's wonderful.
Yeah,
okay.
It's great.
Well, if you're interested, if you feel tugged by the Lord to do this, it's a volunteer position. You'll be highly trained and selectively trained as well. Mark down January 29th, 30th. Now, that's a month or two away, but nonetheless, it's coming up fast. You can call Larry at his office, 789-3780, 789-3780, and get signed up there. Thank you, Larry.
Thank you.
And thanks for your work. Keep up what you do. Thank you for your service. All right, stick right there. We'll be right back.